You don't need the Insta360 X4. Let me explain. I'm not sponsored by Insta360. I feel like in this video, I can genuinely share my thoughts, some of the downfalls with this camera, some things you might actually see as a deal breaker that I didn't really know going into this, and I'll also have some examples for you guys as well. Before you make this big purchase, I want you guys to get the full scoop of the pros and cons. We're gonna start with cons first and actually go over my thoughts and some of the things that I've learned over the past month and a half of actually owning this and using this camera. Without further ado, let's get into the cons first. This first con is actually probably the one that you might see as the biggest deal breaker, and that is the exposure, that is the low light. This camera has a really bad low light. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty rough. This is 8K, I also do it in 5.7K, and I also do it in 5.7 plus. In 8K, you have 30 frames per second, and it's rough. I think all of them look pretty bad, pretty grainy. And this is just something that comes along with the camera. It's an action camera. It's not a DSLR. It's nothing to that level, you know? So the sensors are obviously gonna be smaller on this camera. It is, like I said, an action cam. Obviously, you guys know that going into it. But some of you might be using it, you know, early in the morning or late at night. I had a guy reach out to me recently asking about, you know, his intention was hunting. And a lot of times you'll be going out in the mornings trying to film or vlog or, you know, whatever, the morning and at night when you're coming in, this and that. But all that footage is going to be grainy and it won't look the best. I do want to preface, some of these cons do have things that you can do to help them. And so for the graininess, you can obviously lower the resolution, which will give a little bit less graininess. And you can also have, there's manual settings in here too. So if you really wanted to, you could go in and adjust the manual settings to get the best low light resolution, which truly is cool, and it does work. There's YouTube tutorials on all that. My beef with that is, like, when I'm going out, when I'm snowboarding, when I'm hiking or kayaking or whatever, I don't normally kayak, or when I'm looking to fight or wrestle a grizzly bear or a lion or something like that, my intent is not to go in and manually adjust everything and then hope it turns out all right. The intent of an action camera is to just press record and you just go about your business. And so this is a flaw that I've found, and it just is kind of a bummer. I've done some videos for a guy here in town, the Cheyenne Cup, Eloy. You know, he's the man, the myth, the legend, best coffee in town. But anyways, I did some videos for him using this camera, and they didn't turn out horrible, but the resolution, I think I used 1080, so the resolution wasn't all there. And in the example that you saw with this, I shot 8K, 5.7K, and 5.7 plus. I used just this light. Now, don't get me wrong, it's dim, it's not great, it doesn't look great, but on this camera, on my phone camera, it's gonna be way better resolution than what you get on here. It's a whole thing. So just so you guys are aware, that is probably the biggest con. Now, another way to combat that is, say it comes out a little grainy, you didn't go in and do all the manual settings. In post-production, when you're getting ready to export, at the bottom, there is a denoiser. You can click that so that when you do export, it actually comes out smoother, less grainy, a little bit softer. And that does help, don't get me wrong. I wish that the sensors were a little bit bigger. And for some of you, like I said, if you guys are using it for nighttime or morning time or when it's darker out, you might just want to end up waiting till the Insta360 X5, when most likely there's going to be a better sensor, better camera resolution, and all that. Going into the next con, and this one may or may not be a deal breaker, it's once again kind of just a bummer. So this shoots 8K, which honestly is really impressive. 8K is crazy, but when you're in post and you're actually editing, it's more like 4K because you're cropping that whole 8K into that certain area, so it's more like 4K. The other thing is it's only 30 frames per second. Don't get me wrong, that's, for a lot of people, that's what you might normally shoot at. For me, I usually shoot 4K 60 frames per second, or really anything at 60 frames per second, just because I like that extra smoothness. And then also in post, like if I want to do slow motion,
it's gonna end up being way better slow motion.
And for you, with this being an action cam, you might be trying to go for that too with like snowboarding or, I mean, even fishing shots or kayaking, rock climbing, anything outdoors or action. Like you might want to do those slow motion shots. So you can still do slow motion with 30 frames per second, but like I said, it'll just be choppy. There is 5.7K with 60 frames per second. So if you are looking for those slow motion shots, that's probably going to be the setting for you. If you guys want to go real crazy, but with lower resolution, there is a specific 4K, but just so you know, that one's at 100 frames per second. So if you guys really do, if you have like great lighting, maybe it's like a golden hour type shot, and once again, in the Insta360 X5, that might be enhanced. Like, I'm not positive, but I would imagine that you'll probably have better sensors, better frame rates, maybe even better resolution past 8K, which would not surprise me. So just keep that in mind. That could be a deal breaker for you as well. This is probably the last con that you might see as a deal breaker, but once again, there's things to combat this a little bit. This has only happened once, and there's things to help. So I don't know if this will completely be a deal breaker for you, but I will overlay the shots and everything here as well. We recently went to Colorado. We went to Topgolf, which is an awesome place, by the way. And we took this, it was standing up on the tripod, all that good stuff. And this side back here was faced towards like the bottom of the table. And so it was a little bit darker over here, where over here is where we were actually hitting the ball. And the sun was out, it was a really sunny day, and it was way overexposed. Like, it was horrible. And as you can see in the footage itself, like, it is just not that it's not usable, but it's not quality, and it's not, I don't know, it just doesn't look professional either. So kind of a bummer. All that footage that we had spent there was about 30 minutes there. Maybe it was an hour, I can't remember. That was gonna be awesome for the vlog, and it still will be decent. So stay tuned for the vlog, because I'm gonna have like more than just Topgolf. That vlog is coming out here soon. It was just a huge bummer to go back and look over the footage and post and just be like, oh my gosh, all you can see is like me and then just white. The way to fix this, and I figured this out after the fact, actually just scrolling through some of the settings, is if you power on and then you go to, so if you were to swipe right and then swipe all the way to the right, you see this. If you set it to high, it will actually help equalize this exposure from both angles. And I believe before it was set at standard, or maybe it was auto, I can't really remember. But lesson learned, if you have that set to high, it should equal out the exposure, which is great. And then the other thing you can do, this is the last thing that I would recommend if you're going through high exposures, is this setting called EV, once again. So I'm just gonna swipe to the right. If you go to EV right here, right now it's set to 0. If you adjust these, it will adjust the actual exposure right there. I hope you guys can see that all right. But yeah, so that's under EV, and then once again, you just swipe right and then you're back to the normal setting. So just keep that in mind. There are things to help. Insta360 didn't just leave you high and dry on that, but that was just a huge bummer. So just know that going into it. The other con that is talked about sometimes, and this is just kind of, not that it's common sense, but it's something to keep in mind as well, is if you're holding it like this, you'll obviously get yourself well, but this right here is called like your stitch, or your stitch line or whatever. So if you're holding it like this and you're vlogging, there's gonna be a huge like weird curve right through your face and through your body. So make sure that when you are vlogging or getting the shot, that wherever your target is, you're following it. If that's on you, make sure the lens is towards you or the subject or whatever. So just keep that in mind. This is the last con, and this one is most likely not a deal breaker, but it is sort of a big deal, is the storage space. So I have a 256 gigabyte SD card on this piece, and I'm almost out of storage already, but I've already basically gone through most of the storage already, and then had to edit and then delete the footage and then go from there. But it is just not enough. So because this shoots 8K, it truly does, it shoots the whole environment in 8K, right? Like 4K on this side, 4K on this side, total combined, that's 8K. So that is a lot of storage to be putting on here. And then even 5.7 at 60 frames per second, not as big as 8K, but it's still gonna be a decent file size. So for example, the last time I had deleted everything, it told me I had about an hour of footage left on that SD card if I were to shoot straight 8K for that hour. It can go through that storage pretty quick, and yeah, 256 gigabytes is still quite a bit. But if I were you, I would recommend going with a 500 something or even a terabyte. And SD cards aren't cheap. This camera isn't cheap. So another con, storage is important. And the other thing to keep in mind is when you're putting this onto your computer or however you end up doing it, just make sure your computer can potentially handle that many gigabytes as well. So yeah, just things to consider. That is my last con that I wanted to mention. So those are the big cons that I wanted to warn you about. I feel like the low light was mentioned to me. I just didn't know how bad it actually was until I got it. I just want to warn you guys, like, if you're really itching for it, I get it. I want to personally say right now, I don't regret getting this camera. I knew for the most part what I was getting into when I was buying this camera, and I truly do love this camera. Those are some serious cons, but there are some pros to back it up as well. Let's get into the pros. The creative shots. This thing is awesome. This thing, you know, you can literally just set it up on the tripod, which also another pro right here. Selfie stick into a tripod. You can buy this, which is pretty sick. And then go like that, bada bing, bada boom. But you can literally set this up, be playing basketball, and then in post, you can have the camera basically track you or whatever subject you want to. And it's just so next level. It is just so cool. That's awesome. The editing overall has been pretty intuitive. Like there's definitely some, you know, things to learn here and there, but it has been really solid, super fun. And like, I truly do get excited to edit as well because there's just so much creativity you can use. Like, with doing spirals or zoom ins or like going from this angle all the way over here. Like what I appreciate about this is literally your whole environment that you place it in is your canvas to basically pick and choose what you want. So I love that. I absolutely love that. And it definitely delivers on the creative shots. Another pro that is kind of underrated, I would say, and this is a pro for a couple of reasons actually. So the in-camera microphone is actually surprisingly good for a couple of reasons. One, there's like a reduced wind noise effect that you can actually set up in here or in post, and you can actually reduce the wind noise or whatever. So when you are doing those action shots, when you are doing snowboarding or bicycling or running or whatever, you can hear yourself pretty clearly. Here's an example as I was just walking, and this was a really nice day. There was basically no wind. Here you go. Yeah, I can talk at a normal volume now. I have to pee. I don't see any porta potties, but there's a giant park over there. Now, like I said, that was a day with basically no wind. I did record a little bit when it was a little windy, and it definitely picks up the wind here and there.
But we could. The lines is pretty, dude. And you know what? We could also stop by Walmart and get a basketball.
The other reason why this is a huge pro is because you can literally get one of those DJI mics. There's literally an option to get a bracket, and you put it at the tip of this here, and in between here, and then all you gotta do is do that. And then the bracket will sit like right here, and you can have the receiver and then the DJI mic right here. And so that way you actually do get better noise reduction and all that, and more isolated vocals, things like that. So that's another huge pro. And you can do it with other like DJI, what's the other one, Rode, but the only thing that sets DJI apart is it's specifically meant for this camera, so that's pretty cool. So that's a pro. I don't have that. I've just been using the in-camera mic. Once again, that will be shown in the vlog. You guys can actually hear like my voice and things like that from the camera, which I feel like not too many people actually have gone out and just vlogged talking to the camera. And so that's why I wanted to do that specifically in this vlog, so that you guys could get a good idea of what the actual in-camera audio sounds like. So yeah, going into more pros here. Touchscreen, really nice, very sensitive, I guess, in a good way. Like it works really well. You can also increase sensitivity, like if you have gloves on and things like that. Super good. The settings are all really easy, navigatable, are all very easily navigatable. That's been awesome. So like if you want to take a picture or an actual time lapse or a video or adjusting the video settings, like all just very easy. Another pro is it's waterproof, it's an action cam, all that. But you can also get other batteries as well, which I really appreciate. I only have the one right now, but it's actually held up really well. Like I used it the whole day snowboarding, and I think it got down to like 20%, and that's also in cold conditions. The other thing, because it's an action cam, it is very durable. Like I said before, like when I was taking those falls when I was snowboarding, I was actually like full on like face planting a lot of times, or like falling on my side, or like just smacking the camera on the snow. The snow was not fresh, it was really hard. But it handled everything really well. And if it wasn't out, it was in my pocket, and the lenses look perfectly fine. I have no scratches whatsoever. It has just been a really durable, super solid camera. All the different angles and shots that you can get, especially if you have a selfie stick tripod like this. There's just so many options for you. I love just being able to just do random shots of like just swinging it or holding it behind me, and it's just kind of like a cool third person. The whole intent was just to get those extra dynamic creative shots, and it delivers, it really does. As long as you have the settings placed correctly, just so you know. But it is truly an amazing camera. I don't want to like dog it completely. It has been awesome. Once again, I don't regret doing it, but I hope that before you guys pull the trigger on this, you know what you're getting into. You guys can see examples from my experience of like what it looks like. It's been a good camera. If you're willing to wait a little bit longer, and the Insta360 X5 or whatever the next name for it is, it'll be out probably with better resolution, better frame rate, better sensors. There's always something better, right? So if you guys are willing to live with the cons of this that I've kind of found out over this last month and a half or so, I highly recommend doing it. If you're really itching right now like I was, and you really want it right now, I would greatly appreciate if you use the affiliate link down below. I hope this is your last stop before that big purchase. I will get small commission. I'm a fairly small channel, and that would just be a great way to support me, the channel, and the future of the business that I hope to create. I really appreciate all the support, all the clicks on this video, hopefully likes, things like that. Please leave comments if there's further questions that you have about this. I'd love to answer them to the best of my ability. And yeah, thank you so much, Dream Team. You guys are awesome. Thank you for those of you who are new viewers. Welcome to the Dream Team. And I will catch you guys in the next awesome adventure.